not gonna get used to it.
Oh, come on, Lane. Portaling's so much fun.
Yeah, sure.
You know, when I
don't need to get
Yash
used
had
to it,
his
but
entire
use it a
guild
lot
set up, I
lately.
Their
didn't think
own.
there'd be so many people.
You waking up?
Oh, my neck is sore from sleeping like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hello,
that
Ed.
didn't really seem very
Hello, Macios. How are you?
Doing
well, how are you?
At the camping trip.
No.
All right.
Sleeping on a stool like
We missed the
this?
camping trip already.
Not
Yeah,
very.
well,
That
How was it?
actually really hurt. I shouldn't have done that.
It was very relaxing. We had fun. People fished. We even had a bardic circle.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
Surprisingly, Mr. Bethelian was
Billington is
summoned.
waiting for you inside.
Oh, there
He's
you are.
somewhere upstairs. So, who all is here for the lesson?
I think.
Hi.
Basically everyone.
Whatever you
Alright.
are.
So, oh, right. Allow me to introduce myself. Hello. I am Joe, fortune teller, at your service, or at least what's left of him at this point in time. I'm a friend of Betheli. It's really hard to get used to that. He's. Oh, hello, dear. He's at the top, so I'll go ahead and lead you along the way.
Of course.
Shall we
Nice
go?
to meet you, Mr. Joe.
Either way.
Who's at the top?
I swear I heard him call him Betheliton.
I feel like the name sounds really familiar for some reason. I can't put it on. I'm sure it's there. It's at the tip of my tongue.
You'll recognize him.
Eventually we'll get used to these stairs.
Betheli.
Eventually.
Taking some getting used to, isn't it? Don't worry, it took me about a couple weeks to get it down.
I think
Really?
Ray
Mhm.
is with them as well.
Monsieur Wells, your students
I
have
know it's a
arrived.
lot.
Good.
It looks
All right.
smelly.
Oh, Gaeldyr. Gaeldyr.
Oh, hi, Gaeldyr.
I shall return. Oh, Mr. Gaeldyr.
Popping off to go grab somebody. Alright, you. Catius, come here. Come on.
There's more than one okay.
Because I'm relatively unfamiliar with you and you're not on any documentation for the guild hall or way within the you're going to be there on a will not be able to take part in the classes, but you are welcome to observe. Okay?
Yeah, sorry, that's a bit my fault about why she's here.
You're fine. Just in the future, let them know that I don't know who this is. They're
Well,
on my
they actually kind of
campus.
just follow through my portal when I kind of portal in. So
Well,
we don't
You know,
who
you
they
should
are.
probably keep
This
an eye
isn't
on
an insult
that.
Oh,
towards
I
you.
know- I
This-
know who they are.
Look
They're-
at me.
yeah.
This isn't an insult towards you, but I do need to be sure who enters
Yeah.
my facility. Alright.
Listen, since
Yeah.
you two are going to be having the lion's share of the students, you want me to take care of her?
Yeah, that's fine. You are going to be talking to Erland at some point, by the way, Joe. Given
I
that
know,
that
and
fucking
anybody
celestial
else who
shit
needs
is
assistance
beyond
with
me.
magic that doesn't fall under you two.
Yeah. Alright, Gaeldyr. You can go ahead and tell them what you plan to teach, if you like.
Some already know what they want to cover. Mention the names. Gaeldyr, Savior, and others. I will be starting that today, covering the basics with room crafting and such.
We also plan to cover, well, I plan, and pretty sure Gaeldyr has the same thing in mind, some things involving recent weather forecasts and Zephyris. Those of you who are made privy well know what I'm speaking about. We will be covering those things today as well as teaching you the normal magics and all of that nonsense. On my variety, what I will be teaching today is how to use different mana crystals as well as soul crystals in the field, how to make them, where to get them, how to use them when you need them, as well as mana batteries These are necessary for spell casting if you run out of mana on the field. Also, I will be teaching you a lot on specific shadow magics. Pretty sure you'll find this handy when we get around to it. Those of you who would like to go with Gaeldyr, please move to that side of the room over there, please.
Yep. I got stuck for a second.
Alright, those of you who would like to learn by me today, over there.
Is it a problem if I'm looking to learn both?
Yeah, I was gonna say the
You
same.
can pop off if you can pop off if you're not needed with Gaeldyr. Alright?
Don't mind me, I'm just here to talk about communing with higher powers that you're already contracted with.
That too. If you would like to at some point speak with Joe, you are more than welcome to do so. He'll be popping in and out, assisting where need be. Joe is the tiny little robot with the pump on his head.
I introduced myself.
The mimic.
Okay, fair enough. We got that out the way.
What will Gaeldyr be teaching? I arrived just as he was finishing.
Go ahead and repeat yourself again if you...
Today, teaching runecrafting.
Ah, I see.
Rune graphic.
Alright.
Alright? Okie dokie.
Alright then.
Gaeldyr. If you want to learn rune crafting, go with Gaeldyr. If you want to learn from me, go over there. Any observers are allowed to go about as they please on the campus. They will be escorted by either Joe or my friend EDE over there. Also, if you need to talk to me at all, and you see that iBot floating around, tell him he'll come to me and I'll go to wherever I'm needed.
Before you all split off, is there anybody here who actually is contracted to or in communication with a higher power? This includes you, Miss, but like any kind of like deities, entities that are granting you abilities, anything like that.
I mean, I guess if it counts for anything,
yeah.
I'm in contract with multiple Eureka elementals.
Cool. Just letting you know, I am basically contracted to a goddess of luck, so I can help you in terms of trying to get into a better communication stance with whatever your higher power is, possibly.
Joe,
Or anything that you might need help with.
Ravi over here also is as well.
Alright. No, again, you're also welcome. So, if that's the case,
Good to go on
start
my
the shindig.
Alright, I will be in
I'm
the
waiting for someone to
library. Gaeldyr, you are welcome to use the training field upstairs. That would be the former farm.
So where did you
there's also a weapons training facility, everything you would need there. Joe,
you want to watch the tall elf man?
Here's setting down the fat cat and it waddles over to
Joe,
to the Thiele side. It's going to be observing for her sake.
If you need a classroom, you're welcome to use the alchemy laboratory above the cabinet of curiosities. If you go around the field generator right to the main courtyard, it's just to the left.
I mean, I kind of wish you had an orrery, but you know, is what it is. I'll just try to find something that sticks.
But yeah, bad enough. Anyway, I'll get on with my nonsense. Alright, everyone, have a good evening. Split up if you want.
Okay,
So choose.
break!
Yes, we're going outside.
Tyrith hands
Alright,
you.
Mr. Gaeldyr.
He picks up the fat cat and hands it to you.
So
Just
you're
so I
gonna
have a
watch
second
the
to set
tall
it
elf
Good to see you, Mr. Arcana.
Yeah,
Can
go.
you hear that?
I always have to babysit.
Hey, Arcana, are you gonna be here after all the lessons?
I told it to not cause any trouble.
Potentially.
Joe, was it?
Yes.
Gotcha, because I found
can we
something
talk
in
later after the rune
shambles
stuff
last
then?
time we were
'Cause I
here
might
when he
need-
kind
Of
of
course.
fell apart. I was wondering if you could take a look at it.
These stairs.
Someday they'll get much easier. Someday.
I mean,
I know,
probably
learn
even easier.
jumping's
I
gonna
mean, you
help
guys
a
think you
little
have it bad. My legs are really short, so it's a lot more work for me.
I hate to break it to you, but these stairs never get
That's
any
why it
easier.
tends to be
They
me
only
and
get
not
harder.
I wouldn't put it that way. They're easy for me, and I'm wearing heels. Yeah, and you can also summon a meteor down to drop on your enemies.
Oh no, it's just because Mom has a bullshit
I
about it.
could.
Holy shit, what was it that people in the second we fired at so many?
My people? You couldn't pick on my people. Don't know.
This would be a good place to start. So we didn't lose anyone, right?
Don't think so.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
We're all here.
So, starting I am going to go over
Possibly. Oh, it's Miss Sasha from Mr. Arcana.
Arcana.
Oh.
Alright.
Didn't know you two would be joining us today.
I'm observing.
Starting off, I will be going over basic terminology. With my runes, you can create more than just the rune itself. These are like building blocks, almost. If you saw Edmund's armor, those symbols are the combinations. With those symbols, he was able to essentially not die in the water district and not be controlled by those paper things, whatever they are. Starting, I will be going over to very basic runes, Lagus and Iza. Lagus, like lagoon, is water. Iza, as you could tell, is ice. With these, there are additional meanings. With Lagus, you have fluidity, the freedom to move, things of that nature. With Iza, you have balance, but you also have destruction. With these, Iza is the easiest to carve. With my carvings, excuse is carving into wood and setting on fire. Inhaling the smoke gives the benefit.
Who recognizes that one?
I know that one.
Oh, it's just Gail.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh.
it is I. I'm inconspicuous amongst you now.
Anyways,
Oh no.
the other
I
forms
have a mustache.
of activation are more, I guess you would say, sketchy. Let's say, for instance, I carve Rune, but wanted to have it work on Link here. Instead of just breathing in the smoke, I can also take his blood, put on Rune, that also charges it. Other way is, using ash or paint. And the most, I guess crucial would be carving it into yourself. But that is for emergencies. Makes the runes the most potent, but most short-lived. The effect will not be as long of duration as breathing in the smoke or activating with blood. It's good for, an example would be those paper things trying to get in here. If it happened to me, I would take out my knife and carve into myself. Things for mental fortitude, which can be either seen as urus or torizas. They will come later. But with shaping a rune, Isa is the easiest. It is just a straight line. That is all. Nothing fancy, nothing convoluted. With loggers, it's similar to, I guess in common, the letter L. With L, it is the straight line and that's base. Yes. Loggers is like that, but little different. It is like forming the up-pointing arrow, but get rid of one of those branches. It's like an upside-down L. With these two being basic shapes, you can construct the more advanced runes and combinations. Now, if I just carve Isa or Logus into this, set ablaze and let you breathe in, you won't notice change unless you cast other magic. It helps keep that balance within you and your mana control a bit. Now, with these, you have what I mentioned, Torizas. It is all looks like a letter P. This one is extremely important. If you remember on Edmund's breastplate, that is formed from two Torizas. It is for protection and durability. Carving this is one Isa that straight line, but you add 2 angled lines facing to the side. Hence why it looks like letter P. Sadly, I do not think doing examples with you would be actually good going here.
Alright.
Gaeldyr, I'm afraid I must depart. I have something to attend to.
Is fine.
Take care, Sarah.
Good luck.
Move your hands. I'm sorry ahead of time. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Are you alright, Mr. Good?
Feel
Pain. Yep.
Supposed to have it.
That'll do.
I don't need to heal up after this.
no.
Okay,
Hang on.
I'll take your word for it.
So the lesson is don't volunteer.
Breathe.
Only if you're squishy.
How's pain? Should be little better.
Yeah, it's a lot better. I can see why you said sorry at the
also
time.
carved towards us. I'm hitting again. Trust me on this. Won't hurt.
Alright. Yep. Not as bad. Huh.
Interesting.
Huh. I see what you mean now.
Did more than just towards us. I also used Urus and Feu. Urus helps with your muscles, while Feu helps with overall recovery. Feu is another easy one. Picture the letter F with those 2 lines jutting out, angle downward. No, upward. Sorry.
So, upwards, like that.
When it comes to combining the runes, it's rather free form. You can add in different ways, but the main effect should be the most prominent rune. Either the first rune or the one that appears the most. Hence, for instance, Edmund's Dorizas, there's 2, as well as being the base.
I see. Are you happy that you were able to punch me?
Yes.
Yep, figured.
At least he's being honest.
He's honest.
Well, yeah, he's an honest one.
Indeed.
Bonus points.
Easiest way of practicing would be just writing the runes. But I don't have pen nor paper. That's all in there. That's why I'm confused why the Philly gave me out here.
Actually, yeah, you have a fair point there.
Well,
Did you not bring your own books?
if you can explain correctly, we can at least illusion images for
And
everyone.
I have my
Students,
necromancy
right?
learning
Possibly.
book, but I don't have anything to write.
Do I look like I bring books?
I'm not asking you.
I'm recording in my monocle right now.
Ah, perfect.
Gaeldyr, I can
Please.
Built in the camera.
I can stop by over the one of the upper floors. There's a bit of supplies there. I could probably try getting some wood to practice carving.
If you could. I don't want to carve in these trees. He might get mad.
Oh, I'm not talking about the trees. There's some spare lumber here. I'll be right back. I'll go get some.
I'll go with her.
You've probably seen me use these before.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
In these, there are 4 runes, but one of them in particular is Dorinza's. The others are... I know it as Tyr. It's how you write his name. As the others are Aurochs. And the translation for elf. Since, I mean, look at me.
Fair.
True.
No comment.
With these, I normally have my weapons at hand. You know how Edmund's arm was shattered, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
That stops that from happening to me.
Okay.
Very useful.
Helps keep me in shape. Can use that wood.
Wow.
Something ran by. I get paranoid now. With that whole, you know. Last time.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Understandably.
No. With others, there are other symbols that can be used that aren't runes. If you saw on camping trip or perfect. Edmund's coming.
Yeah.
Can explain.
Hello, Mr. Yaris.
Runes.
Welcome.
Hello, and then.
Perfect.
Ready to find us.
Hey, Edmund.
I sent to do that.
Now, on his breastplate is what I was talking about for protection. Now, the one on his left shoulder, however, is different. Can any of you see souls? No. Never mind. I'll use Tyrek as example when get back, but it stops things like that from happening, as well as, I know it as Vanran. You know it as, Swan Shield, if never heard before. It is mental fortitude that is tied in with Ulus. Ulus is the basis of that symbol on his shoulder. It will help resist mind control and manipulation of nature. Direct.
She brought back some already set planks of lumber, and she also has some carving knives kind of being held by her mouth. Should do. But still getting some ink and pens.
Can you do favor?
What you need?
Check Edmund's soul.
Tirith does a quick. She turns on her soul magic shenanigans. The little sea souls.
What see?
What does she see, Trevor?
Nothing.
Alright.
Nothing, apparently.
It's about as jammed as when I look at. It's about as jammed as when I look at you, Gaeldyr.
Oh, in my case, it's either nothing or random locations. But with that pauldron there, she can't check him, nor can he be tampered with easily. It is not a fail-safe. It does help prevent, but does not last forever.
Ah, I see.
And
In the case
can
of the
you,
past.
draw your sword, please. You can see there's also one on his blade. Now, some of these also have alternate meanings. Some of these stand for victory and such. But it helps increase the durability of his blade. When we were fighting in Water District, he,
And the blade would dull.
pretty much.
No.
When we were fighting those things. If it was just his regular sword, after few opponents, its effectiveness reduces with that bind rune. It stayed same. If you would like to withdraw lumber and carving equipment, if want to try hand at some of the basic rune. Logus is Torizas and others. Not all at once, don't be too excited.
I thought it was a bit straightforward. I guess that's what we're here to try. Hello, Mr. Sapson.
Hey. So, recreate the symbol.
Try the one on your breastplate.
Right, and you told me that one was courage. Sort of carves the same basic shape into the bark as this. Alright, so I've carved into the wood. Now I have carved wood.
Yes. Let's see.
Is something funny?
Sinew is fire, yes. Yeah. Can you set wood on fire, please?
I'd recommend cutting the still non-carved parts off just so we don't waste anything.
true.
Good
Don't
point.
when people have burning wood, they need a healer.
That sounds like you might need a carpenter.
It bursts into flames. Congratulations, Nightman. You cast your first spell.
The wood seemed to...
Hooray!
Congratulations!
Congrats! Welcome to the Spellcaster Club.
I don't understand that. The wood seemed to burn the same as always. What did I do?
That's carving. The way these symbols work. It's not, for your sake, it's not the normal using mana, saying fireball, or whatever you do. What it does is you commune with gods and invoke their power within the symbols. That's what you did. And that is what is on your armor. You do not need to worship these gods.
Communing with the gods is blasphemous, I thought.
Maybe for your culture, since you had the priests and such, but for mine, it was very commonplace.
Okay. I still don't understand what carving that symbol did. The wood didn't seem to do anything.
It's not the wood that became magical. It was the smoke.
I suppose I understand. But that smoke is gone now. So the
that
smoke...
effect is no longer here. I give you second example. You're good.
Oh, God damn it. You gonna punch him again?
I'm gonna get punched again, aren't I? Yep.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Wait, that's me looking at
Is the effect still on?
Yeah,
God damn it. Ah, god damn it. So this is gonna hurt again, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
You're gonna be sorry ahead of time, aren't you?
For example, no.
I hate you.
Good one.
Oh.
I respect you, but I hate you.
That was a great example.
Oh,
Thank
how
you, Gaeldyr.
nice.
It was a magical
done
punch. He cast fist.
Not yet.
Oh, I'll cast gun on you later. How about that?
Alright, try and catch me.
Alright, it's alright.
I'll find you.
Would you like another grit?
Breathe in.
I feel
It is completely gone now.
Yep.
Second
I
try.
hate you.
Same as before.
Yep.
Last example. Move hands, please. Different after he breathed in smoke. Now, these can also be used in emergencies, since I mentioned mana is not used. However,
Oh.
there are some drawbacks that, if drawn incorrectly or used incorrectly, can lead to unforeseen outcomes, accidents, things of that nature. I mean, we've seen Scaly with his potions. Similar effects.
Huh.
If done wrong.
So
we
is
need
it
to be
like
very
enough
careful.
for the line itself to be wrong, or does you need to make the whole letter wrong? Like, could you make it slightly diagonal and still work, or does it need to be perfectly aligned?
It does not have to be perfect, but let's say I wanted to make room for protection, and I didn't use Torrizas as the base, or the most common. Won't get desired effect of protection. There are other things that these runes are used for. That is where it becomes more prevalent. Like, for instance, summoning Filia. Filia are spirits they dear, but tied to your fate. It's almost like a familiar, but are different. Instead of supplying it with magna, no offense saying it, you supply with don't want to use the word life, but life essence. Blood, emotion, things of that nature.
Oh.
So then what's the rune on the shield?
That is one of those symbols that I mentioned that aren't necessarily runes. That is an Aish Helmer. In common known as Helm of All. It is put on shields for two purposes. It is to invoke courage in wielder and strike fear in opposition. In our stances at the moment, it does the former more than the latter in story.
It's almost like a heroism spell.
Yes.
Does the enemy need to see the rune to be afraid of the armor? What if it's a blind creature that uses tremor sense? Will it still work?
It does not work on it. It has to see the rune.
That's good to know.
In its history, the first time a Ishhalmer was seen was a man was to enter a duel he was surely going to die in. That night, he communed with gods, prayed, and received the notion to put the Ishhalmer on his head with ash from pine. Once he did and entered combat, he cleaved the opponent straight through his armor. That should not have been done. Now, there may be exaggeration. I was not there. There were stories of him cleaving the opponent, then throwing him like ragdoll with his axe. I can't even do that. So, take as you will. But he entered that fight, no fear, no remorse, no fear of consequences.
A man's last stand.
That's amazing.
I go full throttle for it. I can see.
Now, other forms of the runes can be spoken, which is what I mentioned as Gaeldyr. To some of you, it is known as Rune. instead of carving or writing. It is almost as spell song or chant. Other things you can do is take an instrument, carve said runes into it, and play the instrument. It's normally done with drums. But that
It could be done with something like a lute?
Specialized, yes. Because with it being the instrument and needing to be charged with life, your breath works for it. With the smoke,
Makes sense.
it is seen as fire being life, and the smoke being the product of said life. That is why the smoke works. Other things my people used, which, I am saying no to right now, because someone will ask, is antlers. No one's touching them.
Understood.
Figured.
Mm-hmm.
Got
I couldn't reach them if I tried to. You're too tall.
Works for me. I've seen shamans and vulva use antlers either as you use wands and staffs, or as components in their rituals, things for sacrifice. I've seen several men as well take antlers and line their shields with them, believing to give it spiritual properties. I never tested, but wouldn't be surprised if worked. Vulva, as I mentioned, you know as witches, but there's addiction to them. Vulva. The name they get is from what they can use. It is their staff. I cannot wield. Only women can. Which is why most clerics and shamans were women. For me, it's little different now with this. I've realized it works as two things. The antlers as the component, and a knitstone, which is known as a kniving pole. It is used for curses and rituals as well. Which is why I'm able to cast my magic the way I can. Now I can just sit here, saying the name of a Jotun. Are there any questions so far? I know I covered much.
How long does the power of a rune inhaled by smoke last? If that was covered, I would have missed it.
It varies depending on the wood used. And the rune itself. For instance, there are runes to help prevent disease that can last for days, while the ones I'm using on grid last minutes, since they are more potent. there is trade-off. Higher potency, shorter time.
So then how long would that same rune... Oh, sorry.
Guarantee on how long, but for what I was using on grid, about 5 to 10 minutes. Since it was quick fix. Now if I used certain woods like elm or birch, it would last longer.
So preventative tends to last longer than reactionary?
Yes. As well as if you use your life essence, like your blood on the rune, that will increase the duration and potency.
What about things like Mr. Yars's armor? You said that it didn't last forever for like mind control effects and whatnot. About how long?
Oh, that is, depending on charge I put in. With him residing near me, I'm able to keep it, as you'd say, topped off. But let's say one of those paper things got hold of him. I'd say few moments. Long enough for him to either remove it or for us to intervene.
That's good then. I'm not sure if it's entirely on topic, but possibly if people are, well, going to be practicing creating runes like that that can help against mind effects, we might be able to help test it if you trust us to. We know enchantment magic. We could possibly use it to test your runes. See their strength against enchantment. We're not quite sure if it's the same as what these creatures use, but it's a way to try. If you think that
Trial and
might
error
help
is
at all
important.
with... Yes.
You want to know the result until you try it. Say that from a merchant.
The reason my magic works against those creatures is light does not exist for me. There is no light and dark. It's just dark. What I am doing with these is,
Which is why my magic works. Why people
bridging the divide between yourself and said darkness, finding a way to coincide with. It is always there, always prevalent, like my shadow here. It's learning how to be symbiotic with.
I'm going to see where,
I'm right here.
He's right here.
My class wait for a long
Gaeldyr.
time to see what's going on.
Yes.
When you say that runes can be charged off of life,
What? They've gone to go get lunch.
and you
They
said
wanted to
blood,
bite to
does it
eat.
have to be any? Does it have to be blood specifically, or anything that provides the caster light?
I could go for a snack.
That may be trial and error, but the caster's essence, I would say.
Does the type of creature that they are affect whatever their life essence might do?
Yes, for instance, let's say I carve a rune. What affect you? I would probably, I'm not doing it, but take your hand, cut, and get whatever is. Odd question. Do you bleed?
Yes.
Then it would be your blood for some
I mean, like, since I'm Fey, would my blood be more potent than a human, as an example?
I haven't tried with that. That's another thing we need to test. I would assume same, if not stronger.
If you have volunteers, why not? Try them there.
No time like the present.
Because, like I said, it's not based off of mana. It's based off of that communion. So if you are Fey, and you make a rune tied to a god of forest or nature, it would probably be more effective. If you are an ice elemental, and you create something using Isa, be more effective, I'd say.
Hmm.
You say that
That's
it's
good to know.
about darkness.
Yes.
What if you're a light mage?
My darkness is not what you think. My darkness is what that people want that Thera is. Those things. It's what Roderick called his PTSD. What people called depression, anxiety, and such. It is that. Not actual darkness.
So, emotional darkness, not the elemental darkness. Did I get that right?
Yes. For instance, you will know his name, Odin. It was believed and still believed that he has depression. It is also believed by some shamans that frost giants help with anxiety. Don't know how. Never really stopped to ask one, but
That's why they're such good ninjas. They need to hide.
Didn't
You
think
know
I'd
the
be
Frost
learning about
Giant
emotional
ninjas?
support giants.
Do you have any context? Ninja Giant? Okay, I thought it was like a group thing.
it is I would mention the frost giants because of how I mentioned Isa, meaning destruction, but also bringing balance and stability. It is to be viewed as what's the word for those big ice islands? What do they all call it? Glacier. That they can be destructive when colliding into things, but we can stand on them, we can walk on them. Still provides that balance. Wasn't expecting to give therapy section all of a sudden, but
Welcome to the life of a scholar.
That's very useful, Mr. Gaeldyr.
now, for me to continue, it would mean for me to go over the communion with those gods. Which I think we should see Joe for first. Have his input, since mine would be unorthodox.
Alright then.
Speaking of
So
which,
we
he
have
was
both?
just here.
I think he went
Just summon an arm.
with Bafili to talk with him.
Wouldn't recommend it. The others might panic.
Fair enough.
I was thinking of using
Panic
them
as in
for
shock or panic
shout
and
it
run?
For, I mean, I was thinking we could
Well, the
potentially
wooden
use
knights
those
are over
to,
there.
act as weather balloons if you catch my drift.
That's true.
Tirith, I recommend shutting up your
Let's
mouth.
see, at least some of you practicing. At least write something.
I can look for him.
Bafili.
Peaceful
Probably
night.
still at the library. I'll go check in on him.
Yeah, he's probably there.
Looks like I know this place. It's my third time here.
I only know this one because
This is hard to find.
Tirith is from a realm like this.
Take your time. You don't have to burn it. Simply carve it and show.
I've visited quite often.
I have to relearn the runes.
So there's one aspect that will interest you. Not sure if you were here when mentioned Gaeldyr rune calling using your voice, spell songs and such.
If it involves emotion, I might be able to make those incredibly potent.
Just too strong. I've gone deaf. I'll be back.
One thing I was wondering is the interaction between two runes. For example, if Flo were to carve one onto her lute, but then also do rune calling at the same time, would that kind of how would that interact?
It depends. We can do the rune calling as example for, I'll say the mental fortitude. So the Zodron, as well as Garnet's rune for courage. They will become additive, almost as if carving them together.
Does that also mean that you could use rune calling in the presence of another rune to negate its effects?
Thank you.
Or would it be additive in a destructive way?
It would be, what's that word? When it's
negation?
like waves with sounds.
Okay, I should know this. I really should know this. I know what you're talking about.
Freak.
Yeah, frequency? It would cancel out the frequency?
They hit each other if same frequency, so potency. They will overlap and counter. But let's say my rune was more advanced than your rune calling. Then my effect will overtake yours, would be reduced. But my effect will be there.
So it's essentially basic addition and subtraction, depending on the effects.
I know numbers, yes.
Excuse me, Nadi, for a new item.
That's hard.
Curious, can the runes be done like Mr. Yars's breastplate backwards with all of them? Things like the pattern being... Or, you said it was two symbols in one, but it looks to be a mirror.
You can. The way that was carved is, as example, don't mind me. this center. Lying here. I did twice. You can mirror, but what I was going for was a second Isa.
Oh.
So you can mirror for time, but the potency won't be as effective as overlapping.
Oh, so this wouldn't work quite as much. She shows off trying to do the Thorisas, the F with a line down and then that way and that way. I think that was Thorisas.
You have Thorisas and Velu here.
Oh.
That's 2 of the 3 I used on grid. Now our patterns would look different. It's almost as a style, I guess.
Oh.
So,
He writes in cursive.
what's cursive?
Don't mind
It's
me.
a
Fancy. It's very
fancy
fancy
writing.
writing.
It's harder to write letters, but it looks nicer for some people.
Sorry it took so long. They were all tucked away in the tiny little corner
Formality.
of the pendants.
At
least they should be honest. I've asked about him in jail, but...
I wanted to look this way. It is you carve, and it almost speaks to you, or calls to you. You feel
Sorry,
like
I'm
a
back.
connection with
This
almost.
is very fertile land.
So these two together would be... Oh.
Never mind.
There's an aether shard right next to the damn bar.
Right, I'm an idiot. Yes.
For me to continue, it may be beneficial to take them to see Joe.
What do you
I
need
tried
to
grabbing
scream like
Joe,
that?
but I
Take them to a sigil. Where exactly would that be?
To see Joe.
See
Oh,
Joe.
to see Joe. He's at the cafeteria right now. Everyone's getting
this place.
I know where it is. Just
Come
walk
on,
to
you
the
big
pendants
bop.
and head over to the bar.
You seem to think we know
They have a bar
this
here?
place.
I have a general idea from last time, but...
Aether crystals. It'll only make you think microbes like live.
That's what I used on grid though. If you set it on fire in every end,
I guess I might as well explain how I know this.
So it'd help
place
with
so damn
the
well.
pain and
It's one of
damage.
those weird dimensional
That's good to
anomalies where
know.
this place happens to look eerily
That'll be
similar
helpful for
like
us then.
Starium.
Thank you, Mr. Gaeldyr.
Might have been
One
that
question I have about
completely
them
from
is
dimensions
it possible to
closer
carve
the
multiple
hiding
runes onto something, but then activate them selectively? So that
No,
you could have
no.
options.
Worried about going to them.
that would be instead
I'd be worried if I were you
on
too.
fire using your accents.
Why do you think I'm coming along? Not letting you
For
die.
instance,
It's not
don't mind this. Now I'll sit down
I'll take
at
a
your
bomb area if I have to.
with what's Ed has carved. There is Tormentos and Fayu, yes.
No promises of date.
What? Hold on.
Please don't.
What's attacking?
Nothing.
Nothing now.
With that I can be more
Okay.
precise
Okay, you word for it.
and only touch the Fayu. Now with something like Edmund's shoulder there, I won't be able to without affecting all of it. It depends on if they are connected or not.
I see. So it's possible, but it has to be thought of ahead of time.
Yes.
Okay.
Could we make a rune that attracts, like, certain things? So you make a rune like a trap, like lead.
There are even runes for attracting customers. So yes.
Really?
So then I have one question. How
They
would
have
it
their own
help,
enchantment
say,
then.
to speak with spirits or the undead?
I'm here.
That is perfect.
Hi here.
That is why
Boo.
we do the silver as yet.
I was told that I was needed.
Later on.
Yeah. Give Gaeldyr a second to finish.
Is there anything that runes can't do? Or shouldn't do?
Blow up the universe?
Bring back the dead.
Resurrect.
Can you use runes
Necromancy
to
is a
carve
sin.
other runes?
What?
Yeah, automated production.
Like automation.
Okay, that actually makes sense. What if you make a rune that stacks?
Like a rune that would carve runes for you, so you could create more.
Wow. Yeah, like a loop.
Like a rune that would carve a bunch of Torizas, so that you could have a bunch of them on hand.
You can mass produce runes.
I'll be nearby. Let me know if
Yeah.
you need me, but...
I mean,
Well, I am
considering
at least.
most
Boy.
games involve something to do with life force, I doubt that'd be possible. There's no life or soul
Considering that it would be doing it and it
Well,
involves something like emotion or the connection to it, that would be difficult, right?
You just need to make the trigger.
Well, I don't think it would be an infinite loop. Like there'd be a certain number of charges, but like maybe just if any one rune could create two different runes, then their itself would
That's
be.
how I'm seeing it.
It's a bit difficult with written spells like that.
The point was automation.
Not worth the risk.
I mean,
Well, that was where I was taking it at least.
so what was the point?
You're not giving me deals, are you?
Like 4 or 5 inches. Like that.
Yeah, kind of.
No, seriously.
Hey, you two can be cute somewhere else, please.
So, Mathili said that I was needed here?
For me to continue in greater depth, you should go first. With the higher beings part.
Oh, right. So, I'm supposed to talk about how to communicate with them or what higher beings are in general?
Yes.
Like, what did you need for your lesson? Both? Okay. So, alright, so, when we use the term higher beings, and this is the royal we, not we as the collective, it's generally in reference to anybody who has more power than they know what to do with and is able to give it to others and affect the universe in ways that we mere mortals probably shouldn't. Understandable, right? These are your gods, your deities, your hyped up elementals, your things from beyond the stars that probably shouldn't have names but have them anyway, and if we even think about it, we kind of lose brain cells. That kind of thing.
Warlock patrons as well. I'm guessing.
Yes, exactly that. So even like your higher demons, your Fey royalty, anything along those lines. And as to communicating with them, well, it all falls under the whether or not you actually have some kind of pact, contract, or dialogue with them. If you do, great. You can work on that. You can ask what they want, kind of give it to them, maybe a little bit at a time, maybe all at once. Depends on who they are. If you're trying to make a pact, though, if you're trying to actually reach out to these higher powers and say, hey, can I please have some power? I'll be your friend, please. Sometimes it works, but most of the time they're like, so what else are you going to give me? That's a nice world you got. You want to give that to me? I'll take your everything. Try not to be the person who has to give them everything. But, essentially, try to do any kind of research that you need to in order to communicate with them. If it's someone that you're actually about, either because your family contracted with them before, your mentor, something along those lines, great. You have a foot in the door. You're able to figure out what they want and kind of sweeten the deal by saying, hey, I'll give you your favorite brownies if you give me a few spells.
Yeah, brownies.
But if it's someone that you absolutely don't know, then that's where it starts getting tricky, especially usually for those kinds. They'll do little things like, hey, I'll take your soul. You don't need it right now. You'll get all this great power. I just want your soul.
That's why people keep telling Florissa about stranger danger.
Exactly that.
Sounds right.
Yep.
What about
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The main thing to remember when it comes to dealing with anything that's considered a higher power, if a deal is too good to be true, it is. It always is. Also, try not to be in any kind of moment of absolute need when you're making these deals, because they will manipulate the fuck out of it to get the better end of it always. So if anybody here's attempting to make any kind of deals along these lines, word of wisdom, don't. But if you absolutely have to, do your homework and consult with someone that already has some kind of deal in the first place.
Speaking from experience, Joe?
Always.
Exactly.
Why do you think I'm up here on my soapbox? I made the stupid deal. Fortunately, my patron actually communicates with me and doesn't mind when I call her an utter and complete bitch. But that's because
she
I'm like
minds.
an old married couple.
She totally minds. Remember when, she turned you into a Lalafell?
Like I said, utter and complete bitch. But she still has my back anyway because I'm still alive.
She's going to kick your ass for that. Just saying.
Probably. In any case.
Yeah.
So, before I continue on, is there any questions so far? Because I'm fairly certain I've been pretty simple with all of this.
So let me make sure I have everything right. So so he pulls out a notebook and goes over what he's saying. So, bargain with dark gods. Try using brownies as the bargaining tool. Most of the time are assholes, and if brownies don't work, try soul.
Yeah.
Okay,
That sounds like mini Archfey, actually.
Don't bargain with dark gods.
Don't bargain. Okay.
Max, you forgot the important part. You gotta call them a bitch too.
The big
Right.
thing is,
If the women ones are
Yes.
usually.
You're not helping.
It sounds like he was helping.
Listen.
So only go for the male ones because the women ones are bad. That sounds a little sexist, but okay.
Actually, most of the time the male ones are worse. But main thing to take away is do your homework. Try to figure out who you want to contract to, what they could possibly give you, and what they want.
Well, I just got my answer.
Brownies, yes.
Well, my question answered now.
If that is what they want, yes.
Right.
Sometimes it really depends. Some of the Fae ones may, but dealing with Fae is always
And is it since there?
Yes,
No,
be
thanks.
careful with
If
Fae.
you rock
Saying he
get
gave it
plonked on the back
willingly,
of your
so
head,
what is
probably
it?
by Jareth.
And be careful giving away your soul. That is
Wasn't
almost
planning
always a
on
bad
it. I was
idea.
just taking notes.
I guess not.
Yes.
I'm not actually planning on doing this. I was just taking
One
notes.
from the
That's just-
DCs, you would say.
So then, if I went up to Autumn and I offered him brownies, he would give me powers.
Talking to one of them.
No, offer him no, Max. Offer him love advice and he'll say yes.
And he probably does need some of that too. Yeah.
Closer. You poor thing.
I am
It's
going.
the truth.
Did I say something?
Now I feel like Darla likes punching you so much.
Okay, that's all I need to hear him for. So, what do you want to do? Do you want to
All right.
be the hero, or are you trying to
Also,
convince them not to make you?
She launches a small
Breathe, Miss
rebellion
Erlin,
with the
breathe.
voice of Ariel.
Wait, hold on. Repeat that.
You got a small pebble launched at your forehead.
No, give me a second out of character. Hold
He's
on.
used to it by now.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
Defend.
Okay.
I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, please don't.
First thing that you need to know that all heroes and people who want to be heroes should always know.
I'm good.
You can't
Don't be a
protect
hero.
Right, good.
everyone. Second thing, never sacrifice yourself Because if you do, who's going to protect people after?
That's what they call an hero.
So, you want the ability to protect others. The goddesses
Dark joke. Don't worry about
prophesied you to be the big hero. I got that right?
Explain it to me later.
As my ancestors has in the past have, yes.
Okay. So, have they granted you any capabilities, artifacts, anything along those lines, or did they just get?
Don't forget lunk.
Okay, fine.
Damn it, Joe! Out of character, damn it, Carver, you made me break. You made me
Good
break.
job.
I don't know why
You
I'm
have
laughing.
a
That's
long
kinda
and
cool.
hard road ahead of you. I don't need my cards to tell me that. All I can say is you are in the right place at the right time to gain the capabilities, skills, and even magical know-how to do what it is you want to do.
Get the grapple.
So,
And yet
one
he's
step at a
totally
time,
necromancy.
there's no shortcuts.
Understood.
And I can perform necromancy.
I think I
Specifically,
I know,
don't
just
try
weird having
to
a
look for
hero,
shortcuts, because the
like
easy way
stereotypical
out in
hero,
order to gain power
being
is
able to perform
never the right way
necromancy,
to go.
which is the strongest spell.
That's actually
curse
a good
magic.
topic there. Excuse me. What if you try
Warrior
to
of Light does not
artificially
equal
create
hero.
spirits
Oh,
or a god?
basic.
Like,
Quite basic.
Fair
unless
enough.
you're a
Very-
necromancer.
That's a very important.
So now all that's left to do is burn it.
Fair enough.
You then make a contract
Okay.
or deal.
Listen. The issue with trying to make something more powerful than you are in order to make a contract with it
Carved
is the
runes on a
fact that you can't
person and set them on fire. Would that work?
Precisely.
which is a bad thing.
Good to know.
Why don't you just make yourself that powerful thing?
You don't want to make yourself subservient to something that you
Because even mortals have limits.
Could I do both?
Especially
all
if you
too
can't
well.
control it,
Two birds, one
who's
stone.
to say what it's going to do once you set it free?
Sure.
Thanks for looking after.
So, don't.
I won't. I just thought because they were speaking about necromancy over there, that was brought up.
Okay, there's
as an
nothing wrong with
example,
necromancy.
not to.
It's a curse
There
magic.
is
Thank
absolutely
you.
nothing wrong with necromancy.
Hot take.
No, there's nothing
Thank
wrong
you.
with it, but just personal preference.
Just like
depending
all
on
said
what
hot
forms
you
of
take.
magic, there is good use and bad usages. Like,
Messing with souls
okay,
is not
so
very
I
nice.
can make an
Except for holy
undead
magic,
servant.
terrible.
That's fine. What am I gonna do with it? I'm gonna
Right?
make it
Then why are you
sleep
doing
in the front
runes?
porch.
Sorry, dear.
I'm taken.
I'm too lazy, so I'm gonna make this
Sinews are
work.
assholes.
Oh, I know a goddess who will get upset at that.
Now, where did I
Fun
get
fact,
this
most
corpse?
Sineater
Now,
spells
that
are named
itself
after
is a
torture
question of
devices.
morals
I'm
and
not
such like
kidding
that.
around.
So, not really gonna touch
That
on that
makes a
too
lot of
much.
sense.
But it's also the
Yeah.
question of, hey, I learned how
Fire
to
defense
use
your
Fireball.
brain.
What am I gonna do with it? Destroy things?
Well, you make the bodies.
I mean, seriously, there's good usage and bad usage for all magics.
Good point.
You.
What if you don't know what the fuck you did to get them to talk to you? Because that kind of happened with me.
Might be something dealing with your family, might be this entire reincarnation bullshit where a past you made a deal with them. Who knows? The thing is, they're talking with you. Maybe you can ask them, why do we have this contract? Is there anything I can do to make this contract stronger? Is there anything I can do so we can make this more mutually beneficial? And I can help you with that.
Cool, because right now I just feel emotions and then they just show up and I'm like,
From my realm.
Any
I-
emotions?
extreme emotions. So like, I was like extremely like
I want to see your rage.
overstimulated and all that a few weeks ago, and I accidentally summoned Pisces.
Despite all this rage, I'm still just around the cage.
Oh, so the different emotions summon
So-
different ones.
We think? I don't know. It's experimental. We haven't figured it out.
Sometimes gods or deities can go, hey, I like this one. You're working with me now. What? You're working with me now. What?
Trial and error is what they say, isn't it?
Boom. That's what we call the fucking echo.
Because, like, if I were to, like, control the extremes of my emotions, that would kind of make me the definition of a psychopath, which isn't good.
It is unfortunate.
So-
Please kill me one day. I'll ask you to do
We'll
it.
figure something out.
We can have this written down if you like.
You're not allowed to die.
God damn.
Don't be making contracts,
This
Grid.
doesn't involve you.
You're not allowed to die.
I know.
Going to the
And
contract.
Very
Can I take a fiddle to Mr. Ryash?
You could be the lost count.
True.
I'm not gonna make deals with you guys. No, no.
How do you think we got involved in all this? He literally contracted us.
Why can't the fancy person die?
Don't make a contract with the cat.
Of course.
What do you have against
Contract
cats?
is- I don't have a problem against you. I have a problem against that cat. He's too
What
small
are
and
you?
cute.
Yeah, good question.
I'm a bunny.
Things can die, even if they don't think.
That's not helpful.
Okay, nice to meet you, Bunny.
Of course.
It's very true.
Soccer, I don't think you're getting anywhere with this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's Sakura. We're both on the medical team back home. Usually, if one
you
of
want
y'all
help,
get your ass
help
kicked,
messing with
it's
emotions, I can
either me or her.
I can help you out at some point.
In a controlled environment, we could totally try that.
Which emotions have you experienced the summoning with so far?
Well,
Gaeldyr.
summon Pisces through being very stressed and sad.
That the only one?
I mean, it only happened a few weeks ago. Before that, I didn't even know that it was a thing.
That's a weird way to
Apparently,
pronounce
it was like a giant fish just kind of going around me.
Right, so
Wonder what happens if we tickle you.
definitely something that we can try within the near future, but before we consider that, was there anything else anybody had to ask? Before we
Are there
move
certain
on? Yes.
methods of... Oh, sorry.
Well, you can go ahead after me. I was just suggesting maybe you should also go over how to get out of a contract without getting yourself royally fucked.
Okay.
Good luck with
That
that.
is about as different as the various many patrons who make the contracts are. So, almost always there will be some manner of in-contract means of breaking the contract. The issue is, breaking the contract is not a good thing in those cases. For example, if I were to ever break contract, I'd suddenly gain all those years that I remained ageless and end up probably either a withered old man or dust. Not fun.
I could always just bring
Also
you
an
But,
example of Tish.
But
Same.
it usually depends on who your patron is, who you made the contract with, that kind of thing. Why did you make the contract in the first place? Why does it still exist? So, when you're making the contract, try to figure out a means of leaving the contract prematurely in case things get dicey, and make sure that's it, that it's in writing and they don't manipulate things.
Yeah.
On an unrelated note, try to make friends with a lawyer. You know, someone who's very talented in legalese. Just saying.
Got it.
So,
We met one at the onsen the other night.
I was gonna say, yeah, we met that one.
Yes.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
that was a good lawyer.
Lawyer.
They gave us the
It's not on a line fork. Maybe I could ask him.
I actually
Who
have
is
a good
someone who can kill gods of things?
I actually have a good friend who's a lawyer by the name of Frederick.
Hi.
Really nice lad. In any case, you were asking Miss
Oh, I'm Everine. Hello.
Yeah, his card.
Lovely to meet you.
My sister and I were curious about whether there are certain methods of communion that are better than others, or if it just depends on the type of entity.
It
Are there certain
always
meditative
depends
states
on
we
the
need to be
type
in?
of entity. So, like, for example, if you are contracted to an entity of nature, usually communion would happen in a place that's full of green growing things or of dying things, depending on what kind of natural spirit it is. If you're contracted with an entity of taking bards, for example, music or arts, you want to do so surrounded by things that would inspire such, or at least surrounded by that exact same thing. So, theaters or opera houses. a rock band stage, something along those lines. So it's all different. Like for the very big hoity-toity deities with their own churches, usually they want you to either have a shrine or actually make the Mecca over to wherever their main church is, so you could prostrate down on your knees and say, "Please give me more power." So something along those lines.
Okay then.
Be dramatic, understood.
Oh, hi, Autumn.
Be dramatic.
Hello.
You can never go wrong with a little bit of melodramatics.
Hello, Sakura.
Or a lot of melodramatics.
Is your
depending on who it is.
shield supposed to be out?
Perfect.
Anybody
I was
else?
actually about to talk to you. How much power would you give me if I gave you a plate of brownies?
God damn it, yeah, I actually was gonna do it.
God damn it!
So, was there anything else you wanted me to go over before passing it back to you?
Joe said that if I give you brownies, you give me power.
That is not what he said at all.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said.
Wait, he
I
said
have
I
a
can
lot
do
of
fey
work
deals to offer
Yeah, and I
power
have
to
a
an
lot of work
extent,
in-
but I
When we first met, he
avoid
offered
that for very good reason. Never make a deal with a fey.
Thank you!
Wasn't planning on it, I was just curious.
Offering brownies in exchange for power is a deal,
I'm also
Max.
I wasn't saying I was gonna do it. I was just wondering what you would
A little bit.
parameters would be.
So,
I'm just
I'll pull you aside
curious. I'm
while
not doing it.
my good friend Gaeldyr continues.
That's fair, but again,
If you're looking for
that
a
is something
goddess
that you have to be
to make
very
deals
careful
with,
with.
I have a
So,
friend.
As long as I
Before
don't
I
shake your
go-
hand, it's fine, right?
Let's review.
No, there are
Don't make
Not
contracts.
necessarily.
Help it. But if you need to, if that's your only means of gaining abilities, powers, whatever have you, due to whatever kind of bullshit you
Regardless,
find
I
yourself
wouldn't
in,
give it for
do your
brownies.
homework.
It's
Make sure it's
food.
someone that you
It
can be
has
in
no
a
real
mutual
value.
agreement with, and not
Especially
someone
to
who
a
wants to
fey,
take
they
your
don't really eat in their own realm.
Just
and
ask Kira.
always leave yourself a clause for escape.
I heard my name.
And make friends with lawyers. Never a bad thing.
Autumn says he doesn't like brownies. What would
Good
you
to know.
recommend using?
God damn.
Okay, you know
Hey,
what? I'm gonna have a private talk with you later.
I can find you a goddess who will actually take a deal with you.
I'm not
Perfectly
actually
fine.
interested. I'm just trying to get more information
I don't
about
have
this.
a
I'm not
favorite.
gonna make a deal.
I eat only to regenerate mana.
He's definitely
We'll have a
gonna make
one-on-one
stupid deal.
later. Okay?
Okay, fine.
I guess the brownie
Cool.
example was like
Alright,
your
so
favorite
the hell
with
away
that,
from Ozma.
lovely meeting you all,
hand
and
you
lovely
to
seeing
say
some
I'm not gonna
familiar
make a
faces.
deal.
Once again,
in
I'm Joe, fortune
indefinitely
teller,
long
at your
contract
service.
and give these brownies
Thank you,
to
Mr.
me
Joe.
in exchange of power.
No. Come with
Yeah,
me.
I'll come with you. Yep.
I would not give power in exchange for that. That is too minuscule, too minor.
True. But what if you give a minuscule power up? Like something of equal exchange, like a mundane ability?
Still too much. I might allow him to prestidigitate if he can't, but I can already do that by enchanting. So there's no point in making a deal for something so weak.
Now the topic I'm
Potency, I recommend tossing a nod to them, pouring one out for them literally. Things like that, small little sacrifices, take a food,
Hey.
tender, things like that.
Toss a coin to your
Gods
Gaeldyr.
like booze. Gotcha.
Mind you,
Is that what you make mead?
Oh,
I do it because I enjoy it, but yet.
It's pretty nice. Made a hot discussion with
Do you
runes
have
and
a
alcohol.
tongue?
That's not
You don't need a tongue in order to consume.
It helps.
Just goes down, right down the hole. Just goes right down the pipe.
That's not very nice.
People said I was from a show called, what show called? With the man with the head like me. Ancient something bright. Said I had
Oh, we learned about this, Rita. Ancient Magus' Bride.
Oh, yeah.
We learned a song from that recently.
Yeah. I don't doubt would they help much, if that's what you're wondering.
I was just curious. I didn't know it was gonna be a big, like attack on me.
Hey,
Yeah.
more people.
Didn't know it was gonna be a big deal. I was just asking a question. Suddenly everyone thinks I'm stupid or something.
Hello.
Is everyone's decided going on?
All right.
I don't think that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello, yes.
Sometimes it's best to just not question things.
I learned a lesson, but okay.
Hey, never stop educating yourself.
I just
Never
finished.
stop learning.
I finished my lesson, yeah. I sent the students that I had with me up here. That's them at the back.
Be aware of the runes you use and who taught you. Because sometimes those incorrect runes could bite you in ass.
Wait, there are ass-munching runes now?
Ooh woo.
Someone deal with that.
Uh-huh.
Please,
I'm not touching that one. Somebody else can do that.
What?
I
You
think that's
took
what they're
a.
calling a figure of speech.
No.
You took a. Yeah. All right.
Like.
Okay.
Figure of speech.
All right.
One weakness.
So, but did you say you were done? Did you say you were done, Gaeldyr?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
of course.
Yes.
All right. The lot that was with Gaeldyr, come with me. The lot that was with me, stay with Gaeldyr. You're learning his shit now. If you need me, I'm taking them to the cafeteria. Then I'm taking them.
Good seeing you again.
I'm taking them to the cafeteria, and then we're going back to the cabinet of curiosities. All right,
Oh,
you lot,
Shamble.
let's go.
Hello, Shambles.
Well, enjoy being teachers.
Prestidigitates. Thank you very much, Mr. Gaeldyr.
Have fun, y'all.
I might as well learn this.
By the way, Mr. Gaeldyr, just so you know, Scaly's holding a, chaotic, I guess, mana battery. And it's kind of sending him everywhere.
Feeling alright?
It's...
I guess he's a little skittish.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Why? He decided to do some experimenting mid-lesson,
Everything
and this is what he
will be
kind of came
okay.
up with.
We were all making mana batteries,
Feel free to
and
send him out of your class.
he experimented
me
under
next to you.
supervision. Under supervision.
Yeah.
Well, what you can't do, I can fill in the gaps. We will make the ultimate team. Superpowers!
Yeah, we kind of asked for, like, Mr. Graffiti to put up a barrier. We also hid behind, Autumn Shield.
So you all made mana batteries?
Yes.
Yes!
Would be my hand.
Even me.
You didn't until and I know that, but
But luckily,
Can I see it?
it's 3 times as powerful as a regular battery.
I was just
I
gonna
guess it will go.
drains.
Scaly would throw it down as it would start to
Silver?
jump around like
Silver, she's gonna put her hands on your shoulders. Silver, calm down. It's okay. It's okay.
I don't know. I gave...
Arcana just went into the ground.
The ground? What? Huh?
I saw him go through the ground.
No, he looked like he just went invisible, but like kind of just faded away almost.
continually jump around as Scaly would then spit all over it to keep it in place.
It's no big deal. It's fine.
Yeah, now we'll move.
Did I kill him?
no, you're fine.
Oh, so wait.
Opens a small
Did you
bottle.
just take my mana battery too?
Fucking insane.
Why did he take it?
Want us up?
Oh.
Did he take it because
cards, boo.
Starting my lesson here.
Never mind, he said the battery is just partially drained.
Just robbed you blind.
No, I said the battery is just partially drained. Didn't realize that.
I am covering runes today. Just very basic shapes. The two that I started them with, that I will be starting you with as well, are known as Isa and Lagus. Isa, as from the name sounds similar, relates to ice. But as a glacier can cause destruction, but bring stability as well. The other is Lagus, like water, fluidity, and such. With these two basic shapes, you can make any other rune that I will teach. Isa being the simplest is just a line. That is all. Just a straight line up and down. Lagus is that straight line, but with a little branch coming off. That is all. With these, you can make runes of differing effects. My runes here that I'm teaching are different than other forms of magic taught before, and since it does not use mana, it uses a mixture of other elements, the first being communing with runes themselves and their respective deities. You do not have to make contract. You don't have to do anything extreme like that. And the other is life essence, your breath, blood, things like that. I am not doing the example I did last, which is I punched Grid and proceeded to heal him. After...
What?
What?
Nothing.
If you want, you can
You're
do it on
not used to me yet. It'll take time.
Okay.
Last time I saw you the tree, so I guess it's... I have to get used to it. Okay.
Let's see. Anyone tired or sore?
After holding that box, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm a little sore as well.
Neck is.
Come here.
Yes, sir.
So, I am carving a mixture of two runes in Feyu and Urus. Feyu helps with breathing, restoration, and such. Urus helps with balance, restoration as well, but also durability. Soot. Breathe in the smoke. Sounds weird, I know.
I thought
It
smoking
has
was bad.
healing properties. Now, since of what I did,
I liked it.
with Grid, I punched him in the chest and proceeded to heal him with that.
Wait. So, just in
My
theory,
neck
if
does
I
feel
wear...
better.
If I were to, let's just say, in theory, were to carve one of these runes into one of my bullets and shoot someone with it, would it first harm them and then heal them?
Yes.
Convenient.
Reason being, you carve a rune for healing, there's different ways of activating. The first, like I did there, was with fire. With my line of magics, fire is seen as life, not just destruction. With that, the other way is that life essence. Therefore, if I wanted to use something for you, I carve the rune, then use your blood. So, if you were to, this won't happen. Just example silver, okay?
Okay.
If you were to shoot silver, and you had a rune on that, that rune will activate and target him because of his blood being what was used to activate. Which means
That's
you
actually really
can
cool.
change things instead of healing. Slowness, freezing, things like that cause more harm. Or other effects, tiredness. So if you can't land fatal, you can still slow down and make easier dealing with. Can you save with the gun itself as well? Or those knives you have? For instance, Enman you may have not or may not have has a sword with a symbol on it. If he uses normal sword for too long, blade gets dull, yes.
Yeah.
That
Right.
symbol is one of my runes. It does not dull anymore.
Oh wow.
Interesting. A permanent sharpness.
Put those on bottles.
Depends on what want. What would you try? Make it so glass won't break.
Don't break and will not explode on heat.
Isa Hoggalas would be the two runes I think of. It may work, may not. Could just make the bottle just stronger, but not unbreakable.
So,
Oh no, unless I experiment.
so basically it's the writing itself that's enchanted to keep the sword sharp. Is that... Well, that comes to the question of how does it get power to stay, usable? Usually a lot of stuff like spells require a mana source, so...
Enman's case is a little different, since it was from me. Enman resides close to me. That area is not normal. Him being there charges it. There is life essence throughout there.
Oh.
The weapon
So
is
it-
bound to him then.
Yes.
It takes from his life force in order to fuel it.
Yes, but it's
Brilliant.
not as years of life, no. It is as, stamina.
Ah, tires him out faster for using it.
Think of it as, another muscle for him.
He does say a sword is an extension of his arm. That makes sense.
He can live by it.
I wasn't joking.
No. Now, with those symbols on him, they each did something different. The one on his breastplate is formed by two Dorizas. It does two things. First is protection, which can be seen as durability. That plate is stronger. You can't really, impale him as easily now. The second is courage. his shoulder here. That one is much more important. It is made from multiple Urus and Isa. The runes I've mentioned so far I will go over. What this allows is finds his soul. In essence, it's allows for if you could see his soul, you can't now, as well as you have harder time getting in his head, as well mind control, not as effective towards him.
That soul one would be very useful.
Question.
These have been tested as well, yes.
You described the shape of the runes, and one of them was just a straight line.
Yes.
Do you have to know the rune and be drawing it intentionally for it to work? Or if someone just draws a straight line, can it also be that rune?
If they draw a straight line, it can be, but that rune will not be activated unless you use that life essence or fire. The
So it has to be intentional.
Balance. Isa won't do anything by itself.
So it has to be intentional.
Yes.
Wait, now I'm curious. And how do you figure out what a rune is if randomly scribbling drawings doesn't work? How do you create the runes?
There are actual structures, and these symbols are formed from said structures, like words to a sentence or letters to a word.
But how do you know what the letters are? Who teaches you if there's no book on how to learn it?
I was taught by my mother.
And how did she learn?
From her mother, it was passed down.
So it's an ancient language. Is that right?
Yes.
It's a language. Oh, this ought to be easy.
You say that, but it almost sounds like it's trying to learn the sign language.
They have the ability called Gift of Tongues. We understand any and all languages. If it's a language, I can understand what the words are. I don't necessarily know what they would do, but I at least know what I'm reading.
Why don't you understand
He mentioned Enman. You would.
He doesn't speak.
He teaches.
How do you know that?
No, but she does have a
Footwork
way
and
to
melee
communicate with
combat.
this sign language. Which is
I
kind
don't
of
know
the
sign language because it's not a written or spoken language.
No. You're
I
writing
guess.
words with your hands' fingers. What's so different with ink?
Well, you have that discussion. I have a question about the activation of rooms. Now of a more theoretical one. Would the spark when I fire my gun
I can
theoretically
read
would
the
heat, the
symbols.
fire from that, would it be enough to activate a
These
room?
mean nothing to me.
If you don't know a language.
Basically setting off a chain reaction?
Normally, runes are carved into wood. Normally.
Fine, I don't know this sign language.
Set on fire. So, if I carve into stone or metal, I can't burn
the other group.
material.
Oh, so where did the other...
Where's the other?
Alright.
Where's the other group? Where were you guys
I think
before
they went
this?
to the cafeteria.
Attached to then after
just there.
that,
They're
wood
there.
to my bullets,
the
which would
curiosity
begin
to it, probably
to
fair.
burn when fired.
Alright, we
then would
didn't
set up a chain
actually check
reaction,
the
correct?
top.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you. All right.
Cabinet of Curiosity
That from
with
the
the
back.
mouse,
With a try.
which is right next
Oh,
to
alchemy
the
room.
center.
I'm still here.
Gotcha.
I'll go find them real fast. I'll find them real fast and let you know.
That she
Oh,
is
alright.
Alright, thank you, dear.
her right arm and she's
Sure.
just kind of rubbing it.
Hello?
Now,
These runes, they also
He's just giving
Nice
you a
to
head
meet
pat.
you too.
Oh, this is Shamble. He's another member of the guild.
For instance,
Hi. Nice to meet
which
you.
can translate to water,
They all
is tied with Mjolnir,
Thank you.
a god of the sea. Or is being ice has ties to gods of winter.
Oh, Max.
With
Sorry?
these
Max Shamble's trying to get your attention.
potency
Oh,
or
hey.
increased potency, I recommend at least toasting to these gods.
They're at the alchemy room just off the main plaza.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Okay.
And essentially pouring one out.
Doing all right?
A plate of food
Yeah, I guess I'll go find out.
by the sea or something as an offering.
I see. Small offering in exchange for a bit more firepower or healing, depending on what one would like.
Runes can be seen as communicating with these deities.
and if they don't like you, they could just not give you power?
Find interest, yes.
Okay.
There's one part you may like. It is known as Gaeldyr. Rune calling. You use your voice. I'm not covering that today, but that will be
Gaeldyr, you said?
Gaeldyr, yes.
What do you mean by using your voice? You mean like you speak the language in it? Ah. I should be able to learn that decently easy. It's about memorization at that point.
And other things to comfort. I did so with M. If you use musical instruments, you can carve into those as well. For her and what she call a flute or a something like that. Blowing into it works for activating, since it is breath, your life essence if you breathe.
Makes sense.
Which works with if I have this at home. It is a drum. On the skin of it are the runes I want to use when I play the drum. If you hear the sounds, it's the same as breathing in the smoke.
So you personally would have to.
A question you will ask about your gunshots. Yes. It would work.
Wonderful. Interesting. Interesting.
Yes, Silver.
So the person playing the sound would have to hear it in order for it to work, right? Or would it have to?
Which means another way of allowing us to either heal or enhance others' abilities through that.
And I presume my guess would be correct if the person can't hear, then it. Oh, that's handy to know, actually.
Another thing to add, Max, ask this. If, for instance, Autumn carved a rune or performed with one of these instruments, and I performed with another of similar effect, it would be additive. But if he played something for healing, as I played something for hurting, whose efforts rune or bind rune, which is the combination, is strongest, will prevail, but will be weakened by the other. They can counteract one another.
Well, how would you know when one's stronger than the other?
Interesting.
That is based off of how it was made. For instance, these combinations are made with Dorizas. Dorizas looks like a line with a beak almost. Or a sideways triangle.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Yes. It is with the symbol. For the primary effect, you need to follow one of, if not both of these conditions. It is the base of your symbol. And it is the most seen aspect. So, on that, it is mostly Dorizas. On his shoulder, it is mostly Urus for mental fortitude. And Hagalas, which I will not get into Hagalas. That is a rather dangerous route to cover.
Oh.
Well, then when are you going to cover it?
Later, next couple sections when people are more comfortable with
when Scaly's not present.
That too.
I do actually have a question about something else about the ruins. Okay. So, would his protection then not be as potent on his courage ruin side? So, say if I struck him on the shoulder, the protection rune would not have as much effect if it was directly at his chest, if that's correct?
It is applying to the person as whole. For instance, if I put it on your shin guard there for protection, your arms will still be affected by it, but it will be mostly concentrated there. So it's a yes and no. The rune's effectiveness weaker there, but is still present.
Oh, okay.
Now, other things I go through. There is a piece of equipment where certain individuals of my demeanor get their name. It is Vulva. Vulva is a witch's staff. Only women can use. Men cannot wield. If I were to grab a woman's vulva and proceed to cast with it, I might as well lose my hand. It won't go well. There are other things. You can also use antlers. No, you can't touch mine.
No. What if you don't have... What if you're not a guy or a girl?
That needs testing. But I'd rather not risk that moment.
Okay.
But antlers can be used in rituals or as wands or staffs almost. As well as another thing, it is known as a knit stone or knithing pole. It is made out of either deer or horse carcass. It is used to put spells on lands and areas.
Oh.
And if wondering, this is where most of my magic does come from.
I actually have a question, Gaeldyr.
What is?
I have the ability to enchant items with magical properties. Would it overlap and work with a rune, or would it cancel the rune, or perhaps my enchantment wouldn't work?
Most likely would not affect one another negatively.
I can enchant something with the unbreakable enchantment and then put a rune to make it even more unbreakable. Interesting.
Something's already unbreakable. Then the second
The
one would be
unbreakable
useless, wouldn't
enchantment
it?
works like this. Should it break from whatever, it will take a charge off, and basically as if it were brand new. It renews it up to 3 times.
Are we
Right, so it's
really
more of a
just
renewed-
researching how to keep the training dummies from breaking?
Yes.
I'm more curious about that, but also, I have the ability to enchant weapons
There's
and
some
armor
training
with
dummies at
elemental
the,
properties, including dark, shadow, light, whatever. Which means if I have something that is unbreakable from rune, and I can do that, it's a very powerful weapon.
That indeed. Sound the part. Oh, listening to all of this, I've never felt this weak.
Into my next part. My magic, like I said, does not use mana. Right there makes it a little, odd. Other thing, there is no light. There is only dark. However, it's not darkness as we know in previous realms and such. It is as was told to me by the wayward therapist. Depression, anxiety, and such. That type of darkness, since it is bound to us, like our shadow is.
So negative emotions.
Mr. Gaeldyr?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm not quite sure, she'll be able to use it then. She's, when we had to cast some dark magic earlier, she wasn't having a great reaction to it.
This darkness is not like traditional dark. It is all in here.
So it's more of figurative darkness.
Yes.
Emotional. In a way.
Thank you.
Well, yes, and that's kind of what her magic seems to be attuned to, is her emotions. So... I'm not quite sure she'll be able to use it.
That is, unless I take the advice that Joe gave me.
Individuals who can't use the runes. So far. If once there is lumber there that we can use to carve, if once try. Cosmically, it's not there, but it's there.
There's something I do wish to try.
If it feeds off emotions, then realistically it wouldn't be the same. You might actually be able to use it if your magic is based off emotion. Unless your magic prevents you from negative.
By emotion.
Not emotion,
Communicating with it, bridging that divide within yourself.
There is actually some lumber on the upper terrace.
So...
Actually, here's an idea. Rapid, come here. Need another stick. There. Suck. Touch the ash, then form a shape in my hand. I'll tell you the shape.
Alright, she's gonna hesitate before reaching out and touching it.
Form that, door leads us, that sideways triangle.
can Gaeldyr see souls?
Yes.
Okay, so basically she is gonna start forming it, and she looks like she's in visible pain, like she's very much so struggling to form it, and if he looks at her soul, the purple part of her soul, there's a string attached to it, and it's violently tugging, like it looks like it's ready to rip out any moment, but she does manage to form the symbol in his hand.
Shambles. Flick the back of my head, please. Works.
What was that for, Mr. Gaeldyr?
Protection.
Huh? Oh.
It means it lessens the impact.
Right. No, I momentarily forgot she made that.
Do you use celestial magic at all?
No, I don't. There was a time where celestial magic was attuned to people, but that was years and years ago. It's become legend at this point.
I don't have much left to cover, being honest. I normally just spend time answering questions with last group, so.
Yeah. I just for clarification, just so I understood this correctly. So, if I were to carve a rune into one of my bullets
there.
and have it be activated by the sound of the gunshot, that would work, correct?
When you say bullets, are we talking what will be shot out, or where that explosion happens?
What will be shot out? The projectile itself.
The sound won't do anything.
You may lose that arm.
Yeah, that would be activated by whoever was
I
shot.
don't mean it as a threat.
Now,
Right.
what's on bats? What's that called? That shell? Bats.
Here, Shambles.
Oh,
For the bullet,
I know what you mean, I'm just missing the word as well.
right.
Casing.
Casing. That, yes. Like the skilly, no. Parts of guns. Let's fix that. Moving on.
I read a lot of books and watch a lot of TV.
Now, that can be triggered with the sound, so let's say you put something on there to cause fear. The sound will then carry that effect. Or something for silence. Sound may not carry. What I mean by not carry in that sense is they won't hear it.
I see. This gives me a few different ideas.
Does it
Should
involve
get
your
working.
gun and shooting it, though?
Yes. It gives me both ideas for both supporting allies, healing allies, and also offensive parts of it. So, in theory, for example, if I were to include, let's say, a paper component to my bullets, which would burn off while flying, let's say the rune would say ice. While mid-flight, the rune would burn, therefore activating it, and let's say I hit the water with it, the water would freeze. In theory. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. Second would be using the sound variation of this if I were to carve a protection rune into into the casing and shoot it upwards, and everyone in hearing range would gain the effect of the protection rune.
Including your enemies.
Including my enemies. Well, that would be something for pre-battle then.
I almost forgot to cover the different types of activation. Change the potency and duration. For instance, that smoke I did. The different types of wood change the potency, while using your blood will also change. The most potent way to use a rune of these is carve it into yourself with a knife, but is the most short-lived and only for emergencies. You can also use ash, like I had with Rune here and my head.
Interesting.
Now that leads me to have to test something that the type of wood and instrument is made out of. If hearing it changes effect.
So depending on the material, the effects grow stronger.
Pine is strongest, but birch and elm are behind it, and effective oak is mostly used for healing.
I will spend a lot of time in the workshop.
Rune crafting isn't so different from enchanting. We require components in order to activate. In order for me to put a magical spell in my plate to make it unbreakable, I require steel ore. If I want it to be more powerful, I require stronger material.
Understood.
She's gesturing to the new person, I believe. No? Oh.
Yeah, I'm guessing she's suggesting the car. I think she's suggesting about carving runes into shambles.
He's a big walking wood. Yeah. Yep, walking wood.
I'm not setting you on fire.
Oh! No, we're not setting him up.
Okay, yeah. Come here.
So, what kind of wood is shambles made out of, anyway?
We could turn him into a juggernaut.
I can test it.
He's already that, actually. Whatever a juggernaut is, though, really. I assume it's some type of...
heard he was already incinerated quite recently, and I'm not sure how he's already this big again.
Wait, what?
He was incinerated?
I heard something about that, but maybe it was a joke.
Oh, you're talking about when Bethili took all the lightning out of him.
I am, at least.
That's the only time I know of.
Yeah.
So many questions.
Well, he's gotten so strong that we actually had to upgrade him to B rank.
I don't
that's
have
how
the
he
answers
was
on that one.
brought to life. He was brought to life through lightning.
So, you've mentioned how runes placed on different materials are stronger depending on the rune and the material. So, like how one type of wood, I can't quite remember which one you said, is better for healing than the others. Oh, yes. So, is the same true for like various types of stone, or leather or bone?
For bone, it gets odd. It's best.
Creating an offensive or defensive magazine.
These.
Antlers.
Go for protection, perhaps healing ability.
The wood is the biggest factor.
How are you holding it, Rosie?
Any wood for any
I'm doing alright.
but
I assume you had the same problem when you were casting the rune, though, right?
compared to potency.
Yeah.
So
Now when it comes to metals and leather, it's little odd because you can paint as well.
It feels like something tugs at my heart.
As long as the paint is made from some of the components mentioned.
We'll have to talk more about this later.
But when it comes to being stronger on wood than metal or stone, different kinds of stone I've not noticed difference. And for metal, I have noticed iron being more potent than steel.
how about softer metals like silver and gold?
And mint blade is silver. I have seen that being tested with, and for combat, it was potent. But for others, not sure. You can put on jewelry, but it was normally carved into the gemstones, not the soft metal, as you said. Other things is that the metals were formed into the rune, almost like a stem, not carved.
So, are there any runes that should never be carved into the same item?
No, it is very freeform.
Okay.
Sorry, I missed most of that. I'm sorry.
Shambles. Carving runes into shambles?
I'm so sorry.
Shambles.
Yes, we get the shambles.
H is wood. Okay, so
Oh, his horns?
his antlers.
She's riding into the ground. He has no soul.
No soul.
Like, how effective would shambles wood or antlers be for rune crafting, I'm guessing?
Those are
Is that what you're asking?
than antlers. Don't think they would be,
They are not made of bone, if that's what you're wondering.
Oh, I mean, more along the lines of how effective would shambles would be.
I don't know, Scaly ate it one time and threw up a bunch of roses.
I think I did some experimentation
This
on
the
that.
thorns?
That's more on my part.
Better yet, Gaeldyr, how do you know the rune's effect on Fey wood, trees from the Fey realm?
You can blame all of that.
With it being desired, nothing really changes.
And
improvement compared to putting it on a normal tree, so the runes would apply
what
to
he
him.
usually throws up.
Understood. Yes, which means it would be no different for him.
But now, him carving runes may be little different. Since my carving is more of communicating with deities of sorts, they may not view him as being able to convey due to that lack of soul.
So, you say carving runes is a... Sorry.
Sign language. Yes, Shambles can speak a bit of sign language. Ugh. I'm twisting my words.
I think he understands most language.
You say carving runes is communicating with gods.
Yes.
Are you trying to communicate with any in particular, or is it just kind of like a message and kind of hoping the one that you want to listens?
Each rune has a different corresponding set of deities. Now these aren't like contracts that you mentioned, but it's not a right and hope for best. For Torrizas, it is contacting Scotty, Vidar, Tyr, and... No, he is not God. Why would he be?
Got it. So it's not a communion with a specific god, but more like entering into a chat room with a bunch of other gods. You know the ones that you're talking to because they're the only ones in the chat room.
Yeah, what's a chat room?
A room that you talk
A room
in.
where you chat with people.
Come on, connect the dots.
Oh.
So it's like you're entering into a classroom to communicate with a small group, for example, as opposed to trying to send a message to anyone who's willing to listen. You already know who's going to be listening with these set amount of rooms.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Friend,
Yes.
can you use symbols on liquid?
Good.
Like carve into water.
Yeah. You, example. Take oil. You put into water. And then with that oil, since it will float above the water, then you ignite the oil with fire. And the oil is in the shape of a room. Would that work?
You
Affect the
just have
water?
to practice for a very long
Toss
time.
carved wood into water.
It has to be very calm water.
Okay.
Although you could just practice. It might not look like anything's happening, but it's because you're doing it wrong. You'll just have to practice a lot.
True.
Okay.
Too.
Actually, as well. Very fascinating.
There, one last thing to cover before I am done. There are other symbols besides just the runes. Example would be, I don't want to take this off. On my arms, I have what is known as Aish Helmers. Helm of All. It, was believed to strike fear in you was against you, and, incite bravery with those next to you, and yourself. Symbols like that hold similar power as do runes. because I will have a separate lesson for to cover. But that is about all I have.
Okay.
Thank you, Gaeldyr.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Was very insightful. And gave me a lot of ideas.
Thank you.
Remember, valuable advice. It's not a war crime if you win.
Oh my.
Oh.
Never fight honorably.
That sounds bad.
I think I would disagree.
I
I'm
think
with Eos.
Hippocratic Oath told me not to do that.
History is written by the winners.
No, Shambles? No.
Shamble is making a threatening gesture.
Shamble, no. Shamble, no.
Never mind.
I mean, the only war crime that I could possibly commit in my kingdom is retreat.
He was
so,
doing the. He was
How's
doing
that a
the-
war crime retreating?
If I retreat and basically abandon my army and my soldiers, that's considered a war crime where I'm from.
Oh, that's I actually think what you're thinking of as abandonment and desertion, not retreating.
Yeah.
Doesn't have what?
We consider it retreating because to us retreating is a symbol of weakness.
What do you think of rune magic then?
I suppose, but
I'm gonna practice carving.
Let's just call it a
That's something I'm. That's something I'm.
tactical regrouping outside of the battlefield.
It is quite
I guess that's one way to put it.
Sometimes running is the best option to survival.
Then again, we've only
It
ever really
feels like
battled
it's a
one
very
war.
ancient and
You know,
different
we're
form
pretty
of
much
my
peaceful
magic.
with neighboring countries.
Different cultures.
that's good. It's better not to have wars, in my opinion.
We only have the occasional raid of forbidden magic users that try to break into the kingdom.
To
but they're met
combine the
with,
two would be interesting.
well, they tend to fail quite a bit.
Preparing some magazines.
Oh.
It sounds like
What I wanted to ask about that before I forget, I guess, is there a way to commune with that chaos god of yours? Like, you know, not just alone, where I could talk with him as well.
Certainly something I want to try.
If I want to speak to him without any of the other gods, there's a priest named Father Saber who
That I have the ability
can
to understand the
commune and
words.
use his body as a conduit for gods. I have to locate him
get the bullet
first.
out of there at some point.
Well, when you do, don't go alone. Take me with you. I want to help out as much as I can. This seems like something that would, not something you want to do alone.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Oh,
thank you.
Of course. I mean, if anything goes wrong, I can get us out of there with portals, so.
Yeah.
Sure you're okay.
Plus, I think it'd be good to, get it, in a way, under control.
Of course.
It could be very valuable in the future, and if you can't use it, then it'll be a problem if you suddenly got taken over by it.
Well, the way I was thinking about it was a.
Even then, maybe it could be really destructive or something. So, you know.
Cut it thin like paper.
Yeah,
and
shadow
then
magic
to the bullet,
typically
so it
is.
would,
That's why it's considered forbidden where I'm from.
The paper
It
would
never has
ignite
any
with the
positive
gunshots,
effects, only
basically
negative.
igniting
I didn't
mid-air,
hear what you said.
So it activates when it hits the target.
I suppose so. I didn't have any effects from it when I casted it.
Well, it is
but
my main choice of weapon.
I don't know. I'm still gonna try to learn it.
It definitely has a lot of uses, both offensive and
Mm-hmm.
defensive. Very versatile, and I like that.
Well, I need to get going.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to drop a portal for you so you can get there faster, wherever it may be?
Sounds interesting.
No, it's fine. I
Very
can
much
use
so.
my magic.
And
Thank you,
given
though.
okay. It's not all that usable.
Anytime, Revy.
Perhaps for now, at least, the better alternative.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye, friend.
Bye.
Bye, Ravi.
But of course, learning both would be useful everywhere.
By the way, Akana?
Something mana, something Magitech, and then a word left.
Sounds like the theory.
It's just yes.
Oh.
What did you do earlier, by the way, when you grabbed my mana crystal?
Your battery. Drink it.
And then did what with that? Did you teleport somewhere, or?
What's the spell?
Well, what spell? That's what I was asking.
What did you see happen? This is a quiz for you.
I saw as if you kind of went invisible almost like you faded away.
Precisely that.
Oh, so it was invisibility. You didn't actually go, like, teleporting off somewhere.
No.
I wonder what would have happened if you used mine.
I'm not touching anything you ever make. For my own safety.
I mean, apparently it's a
There's
lot
a
more
bunch of
potent
tinkerers in here
mana
as well.
crystal, according from what Mr. Pizzelia has said.
It lasts a lot longer. I think,
Right.
3 times as
Time to
powerful
theory
and 3
craft and
times
actually
as
get
long.
to craft.
I could use
I
this
have
10
many more ideas.
I love I don't even have to take a step away from here.
Sounds good. Oh, here comes the other group. Oh, wonderful.
Mr. Pizzelia,
We just finished.
Mr. Gaeldyr, I have a question for you later that's more of a private one.
I set things on fire by accident.
Congrats.
Par for the course.
Day one, I'm already saying I'm not asking anymore.
How did it go?
Fuck, I'm not
I
asking
mean, you're the one who
anymore.
constantly asking about what you can do with your gun.
Gun? Rune magic seems to be something I could learn very easily.
Yes.
Gift of tongues, you know. Not only that, but I learned that you can enchant items, and I can enchant items. Double enchantments!
Can you come over here?
Double enchantment.
Welcome to the life of a magic
Well,
item.
laugh all you like.
The
That's all I know.
possibilities under
I make magic items.
Oh, hello there.
Thanks.
I don't think we've met. I'm Everine.
No. Elbon. Pleasure to
Why
meet
does
you.
it look like his hands are on fire?
Nice to meet you as well.
You're kidding, right? You're kidding, right?
You were in the guild,
make
or?
magic items,
Yes, I've been invited, sadly, though I don't know by whom. A Moogle handed me a letter and I ended up here.
So not only are you
Oh.
Wait, hold on, what?
Was that Mr. Mangus?
I'm not certain.
Yeah,
I'm not
you
certain.
know, I think maybe you should invest in shades like that
It
guy.
was
did.
just looked like a normal delivery Moogle. I'm used to those, so I didn't
That
think
was
much
a
of it, but
lie.
there was the crystal inside the letter and I ended up here.
I told him to look for Mingus when he gets to the guild.
fucking realm, it might just be breaking bright.
Ah,
So I wouldn't put it past someone for wanting me dead. However, there actually is no bounty
There's
over
me too.
my head.
I'm
You're
good.
just making it up.
Ah, okay.
You need to oil your armor.
I was gonna say now.
And now that
I don't know.
Not gonna lie.
I've heard, and
Never adult.
I'm just shrinks down.
Where's Gaeldyr?
I have many and many more.
It's fucking there.
Larissa, nice to meet you.
That's nothing new. Yeah.
Ebb and flow
are
Oh, okay.
Holy
our
shit,
sisters
Mm.
in the same body.
They share body, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Hey, weird ass motherfucking.
So, when Eberine was mentioning her sister, that's you.
Although, Mr. Arcana.
Oh, yeah. Hi there. I'm Larissa. Nice to meet you, Mr.
You
Joe.
will see me a lot confused, Eos.
Nice to meet you too.
With you.
My question is.
Understandable.
Do
you guys see what each
Ebb
other
and flow are
sees?
good though. If anything ever happens to me, they're able to be summoned.
See what's going on.
So is Miss
Oh, it
Celine.
got very loud suddenly. Sorry.
Understood. Okay.
Jack, you might have to repeat it. You might have to repeat what you said.
Yeah, sorry.
Probably.
Couldn't hear.
But
So, if
probably
one
not
of you
today,
is, I
but
guess,
at least
out, does the
I
other one
have
still
no
see
time
what's
to
going
theory
on?
craft, put it to paper and then put it to
If
work.
we were back in my
One
realm, I
magic
could also
seems
cast
like my
glamour
best
on that
alternative for
house.
now
Gives me
to like
ideas.
This is his by the way.
Glamour's
so
also
fair
a
to cast magic given my mana pool is not Great.
Selena Shambles supposed to eat that.
Not really. I've
Yes.
just been more recently been able to manipulate the ether around me.
In theory, it should work.
So Robin
It's
gets
only
me.
just mana, but
I started learning some of the magic as well.
He's eating his food, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, but for me, my idea is to apply the theory of the rune magic and its different ways to activate them to everything I can do with a gun.
Hey, it doesn't look that big.
The paper components.
Okay.
The sound.
We just learned the shadow magic. It's really cool.
Yeah, he's just eating
For example,
it.
if we're in a group far away from the enemy, and say one of I use the sound as an activation method.
Oh, right. It's like
in a way
into
how you
the
describe it, it's
housing
like
called
you're like hiding a mana in a way. So you're
would shoot in the air and everyone hearing range.
So technically, if I was to try to cast it, in theory, it said if anyone was like mana, it would just not be there for them. After we've seen though, like
maybe it's him.
I'm with you on that one.
I feel like told me to do this to get it off.
I do not like using these as much since they're a keepsake.
Oh wait, where's my book?
Understandable.
The other guys.
But better use the option you have.
You're okay.
Are you kidding me?
How do you need some context to
I suppose.
So, it's lovely meeting you, Clarissa.
Well, and out of character.
Nice meeting you as well.
Sounds like it'd be handy though to actually hide your mana.
Oh wow.
I don't think I've ever come across siblings that shared a body before, or switched as you two do. That's pretty interesting.
People seem to think so. It's just how we are now.
They have really. If you have sensitive
We were twins.
fucking ears.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
They say it's the
Oh?
man's greatest fear.
If you have sensitive hearing, cover your ears.
They say
Okay.
even gods could face it.
It's not
For how long?
magic because
Yeah.
Jack,
He
what are you
reaches
doing?
into his bag,
I don't know.
struggles a bit, and pulls out a fucking M60.
Moving.
Bag of holding. Slow, back up.
What's that?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I
Oh
felt
yeah, that's
something
where you
strange as
pull all
well.
your stuff. I forgot about that.
Like something inside me was trying
Scary
to
move.
escape.
Can't see what's happening, so I'm just gonna.
Go that way.
It was very
Okay.
I'll go to.
Is that a gun? Is that a big gun?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Hey, pop gun. This is what a real gun is. He just unleashes like
I think
20
We
rounds
had to
of the
deal
hay
with
bale.
those a lot recently.
My friend, size doesn't matter if you're imprecise as a keep your ears covered.
Yeah.
I
Same.
fear the shadows.
I don't want to.
Don't
Oh.
That is loud.
Size doesn't matter.
There's a realm.
Oh, we're going with that.
Mr.
Into the
Gaeldyr,
bag and
I
pulls
guess
out.
it'd be a good time to try to break away from the group so I
He
can ask my
flicks his
question
wrist
to you.
and two very customized 1911s appear. And loads of both clips into the fucking handrail.
Imagine using clips.
Shadow realm.
I can shoot these babies as long as I want.
Houses.
Not that way.
Shadows? Okay, not quite. There's a dragon.
He reaches into the bag and pulls out a blueprint. Now listen here, you little fucking shit.
Dark and evil dragon.
Wanna go?
There used to be the Fey dragon.
Sorry.
Before the Fey dragon.
We'll get better at it.
It created this shadow realm, and with it, corrupted various pixies, dryads, various fae.
You want to use lightning on him?
Take the
I was just taken aback.
I don't need a sleep spell, Mr. Joel.
By what? Absolutely do not wish to wake up.
That's our sleep spell.
Oh, an ass
The
can.
dragon has been dormant for nearly 10,000 years.
We're birds.
The Shadow Realm has been leaking from our reality for a while now,
Does their part while Arlington is away.
as is kind of normal.
Moving right along.
The problem is, however,
That's okay. I
that
understand it.
the Shadow Dragon, before being locked away, had cast darkness over the entire Fey
It
realm.
sounds like she wants us to cast lightning on Shambles, I think.
Inside every Fae.
I don't think that's a good fucking idea.
Much like angels
Apparently he
become
heals him, so it's a good thing.
A Fae can also become a Shadow Fae.
Maybe a rune for lightning? That'd be kind of weird, though.
Mr. Jack?
I know it's kind of weird to hear this out of the blue all of a sudden. However, what I felt inside me confirmed it.
I heard my name. Either someone wants
Shadow
something or
Fae
someone's
are
talking shit. Which is
dangerous.
it?
They want nothing more than to steal away your light.
Interesting equipment you
worry
have.
about it. It's fine.
Probably a few of the hell
need a
have.
potion. You're not
Not to you. However, even if... Trust me on this one. If the Shadow Fae were ever to be released, even the Fae would side with humans on the snap of a finger. A mutual enemy would put aside their differences.
Makes a hole in
Okay. So... again, private question.
Doesn't matter to me.
I don't want anyone really hearing it, so that way...
Oh, I was listening to Arlington
Where are they
talk about
hiding
how
from
you
me?
use chaotic vials
That's my question.
in a mana battery.
Yeah, it's on my spin.
Do you think I'm gonna eat you or something? Oh, okay. I thought you thought I was gonna eat you. Because most people
First
think
thing
so.
I was to teach you alchemy. I'm the master here.
Okay.
Oh, the fun members aren't even here.
I guess this isn't technically the guild itself,
Yes,
but...
I do.
Well,
You look like you were thinking.
I was expecting
I mean,
but I cannot hear.
Roderick and,
Oh, so I do hope you have a workshop at the guild home, I suppose.
I don't have a
No,
price.
it's not.
Workshop?
I'm willing
What
to
kind?
teach all who ask.
Well,
We do. The
fair enough.
blacksmith.
You have a fee.
Oh yeah, the forge!
Regardless,
Good!
Well, as long as I
it seems to be gone now.
can get some stuff there for my little experiments, and
If
I'll be
anyone
good.
wants to learn, they should learn.
Just don't piss off Miss Blaze and everything will be fine!
Hello, Jack.
Yeah, this Blaze
I
is
won't blow up the. I won't blow up the.
Yes, I can feel it is gone.
She's a good person,
Don't
but she
piss
can
off
get
Miss
easily
Blaze!
It seemed to
I'm
happen
sorry,
when
what
I
are
was
we
trying
talking
shadow
about?
magic, but I failed it.
I'll be at my best behave. Okay.
If she starts blowing steam from
Yes,
between her
sadly
joints,
failed
that
it.
means she's mad.
Run.
Blaze is fun. What do you guys mean?
And she will punch you into the ground!
Blaze.
Right, then
Blaze.
Blaze.
Shadow Fae's light,
Given your sense on magic
and there's no brighter
Yes.
light than the one right here.
That was how I met Blaze and Jack.
Iron
Was
tits,
watching
though?
Blaze kick Jack's
Or
butt.
heavy
Who
metal!
is Mrs.
Oh,
Blaze?
no, we kicked each other's ass.
Oh,
I'm remembering
Miss
that I
Blaze is
picked
our
her up
forge
when she was
master.
fully covered in, and she was full on iron tits and threw her into a fucking
Got us a
wall.
dark
So,
and shadow.
And then you later threw Smiley in a wall, which is actually really entertaining.
I mean, throwing
He
Smiley
returns
around is
as
funny
Beat
in
him
itself.
eventually.
How you doing, Shambles? How you feeling?
Jack, don't you
His
just
name is
throw
Smiley,
everybody?
and he has a giant nose. You cannot miss him.
What did he do?
I mean, if someone annoys me enough, I'll punt them, yeah.
His nose is as big as that.
You would have felt that
As big
most
as
of the
Joe.
vibrations would have nullified throughout your body.
Or at least as big as Joe's
I'm
mom.
not joking.
Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed your time here. I know you're just an
It's
observer,
nice
but
to know
hopefully you're
some
not
things
too
stay the
bored
same.
here.
Okay. Just take
Yeah,
the information at face value.
Are you a fucking
This is-
nerd? Why are you on my shoulder?
This here, this
takes
is
the box
Smiley.
from you.
It's
Only one
nuts.
cracker.
Oh,
That thing is bigger than Smiley's face.
I got beer.
Slowly starts to nullify.
I can't
Oh, you want
drink.
fucking beer?
Jesus.
Can you even eat?
No.
This will,
Then why do you want a fucking cracker?
this will be a fun
She
time.
is the
Leave
goddess
crumbs all
of
over your
dark
armor
and
to annoy
shadow. Yes.
How long it
He's
takes
right.
to get
We're not-
Infinity.
so
We
you'll be
can't
able to be
prevent
at Guild
things
Hall on Wednesday?
from
Thanks, Joe.
going crazy.
Shambles, where is, yeah.
We do what we can when the problems arise, right?
Yes. Man, right?
It will be
Asshole.
I can nullify.
Same time as tonight, I
You
believe.
can't stop.
Chaotic.
Or close to it.
I'm not going anywhere.
Maple will kick my
You're
ass.
not going anywhere.
ESC, but
being able to just draw its language with
And in the hay bale?
I'll be here with you. And we'll take the problems together.
okay, it's close enough.
That's fair. I can sincerely move the entire way
over
from the
there.
library
Okay.
to Saphira City.
4 a.m. Like,
That's what I wondered.
oh, midnight. Okay, because today's event started at 4
I moved the
a.m.
library to Saphir City with
He's
the
ruffling, yeah.
It's like sudden light popping
Right.
can be like there's some
Okay, yeah, no, that works. If it starts around midnight, that is completely fine because that is also like the time when SCP Foundation roleplay starts on the other days, which is great. Nothing clashes. I don't clash with this. It doesn't clash with this. It doesn't clash with this. The only thing I'll be missing is the SCP Foundation hangout event, but well, that is just us running around in different worlds, just playing games together. So, and we do that whenever we will.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Yeah, looking forward to this.
And
I work for him, man.
Kisses your forehead.
it's gonna be around this time that we're doing it now.
I'm going
to fight you.
Given that I work changing shifts, I don't have a sleep schedule to talk about anyway.
Look at you getting all flustered and pink.
It's quite interesting the full circle I went with all of this. So, first I joined Jane's improv group because of the map for the it's a Final Fantasy XIV map, and I'm also a Final Fantasy XIV player. So,
see what I mean?
Actually, I could go
joined that. There's also where I met G4 and Joel, for example. And somewhat later, I joined the SCP Foundation of VR chat. Then, as it turns out, like last week, one of the 05 is actually also here in the mission shop. So, it just all went full fucking circle. Which is great.
Back in character?
I'm back in character.
I'm a hybrid guy.
Maybe not.
Mr. Gaeldyr?
I was like, this doesn't sound right.
Another lesson for the Gaeldyr?
You're literally.
It looked to me like like you were pointing past me.
You need a punishment also from me.
Though, is there some sort of...
the future, how uncertain it is.
TLDR, what the fuck happened and what you were teaching, because it sounds interesting.
There's the hay bales.
Okay.
Wait, hold on, are we talking
Probably.
Hold on. Out of character.
I'm glad you're certain about it, because otherwise I'd have to drill it into your head.
I think my guns are not as destructive as of now. I destroy them. A few holes maybe, but no full destruction.
Everything you can do with necromancy, you can do with
Wow, it's really big today.
All of the discussion about magic and everything for a few days was over how to make the training dummies more durable.
Am I just punching him? Am I just punching him as hard as I can? Or?
Once more, I have to say, I've never felt this week.
Let's not do that. That really did hurt.
Listen, I was considered one of the most competent pirates in the realm of Lenosha.
Better now.
Everything necromancy can
And now I'm here.
Did you like listening
One
with
of the
the
most
girls?
feared pirates in the sea.
Right in the gut with the force of 15 pounds.
Which scares me
with the
of
exception of
I think it's free
the
time
of
pretty
light,
much for
and
now.
these people are capable of.
Resurrection. Something that make me holy.
That's what you're afraid of.
I do.
Yes.
Proper resurrection.
Yes. I'm happy for that.
Screw the
Are you
merchants.
happy for that?
I don't think anyone would mind if I just straight up honestly say I'm a pirate. Fuck would care.
Better?
when I die, I'm apparently gonna
Sure. Okay, I can't drop the merchant act. That was
Over here,
annoying.
over here.
My master's gonna put my soul in a robot.
Really? What happened?
Make me live longer. While my body
I see.
Better.
Now punch him again.
I made some deals in my previous lives.
I'm pretty sure he's human, and I'm pretty sure they're rough for all his internal organs, and set him
For
flying
so
into
long that it's hard to
I'm not human, but yeah, you can still punch me.
Silver did it on accident. I stopped
punch him
counting
same
now
trick
at this
last
point.
time.
Accident.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, we're so sorry, Shamble.
What you need to know yourself, era you.
I'm glad you're okay too.
The number. You did in
Also
1500,
found great.
I hate you.
So
Am I
wait,
your assistant or something?
is this? Wait, hold on. Does this make him also like resistant to bullets?
Time travels. Time goes
Actually, I'm kind of wondering about that now too.
Well, let's find out.
No!
It's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. He knows it. See, it's rubber bullets. It's fine. It won't kill him. It will just hurt. I'm doing it. Close the hammer back.
I gave him consent.
No!
Give me consent.
That could be a really heavy
Rune's about to get shot. Rune's about to get shot.
Yeah, it's fine. They're rubber bullets.
Especially when there's enough room to sprawl.
No. He just politely picks you up by the scruff of your neck with one hand and just sets you
Wait, what
down.
are you doing?
Fucker!
You gotta the age that you're referencing that my wife was in.
Why?
Steampunk.
He has a revolver in his hand. He picks around and bonks you right in the helmet.
That's something.
I hate all of you.
Don't.
I'm putting myself on. No. Stop.
Well, different
There you
worlds,
go.
different
Just
times.
take
Goes slower.
He has a small fucking basically what looks like a sardine special in his hand. He flips it around so the is pointing this way. Bonks you lightly in the head with it, then flips it back around.
What are you doing?
Here, you can have your test.
Oh, where'd he go? I was gonna. Oh, there he is. I'm gonna shoot him with rubber bullets.
I'm not
it's
taking
fine.
anything from you.
It's your counter. With great blood.
Are you ready?
Shooting bullets. Hold on.
What is my blood?
No, don't.
Okay, cool.
Sometimes.
Bullets back the hammer.
No fucking idea at this point.
Empties the entire thing right into your chest.
I quit.
What I heard.
Take these runes.
It's okay.
Oh.
I don't want you to get hurt.
Well, Grid's been
I
shot.
quit.
Well, Erlen, look at it like this. I shot him with rubber bullets.
I quit. I'm surrounded by idiots.
What do you mean? That's not what you knew
I
this.
just moved the library into
Find
Severe
less
City.
idiots.
Yeah, that was a
I
you
was
thing.
doing
That was a you
my job
problem.
for my employer. My bad.
I was testing out a student's work.
I'm a student.
No, this is about lichdom.
It just so happens Greg was the
Bethany's library.
Can I just do assistant or something now for all these stuff? Will you owe me back later?
I already gave you a book.
No, he
Alright.
He's the centerpiece.
Alright, that's true. Well, you threw it at me.
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
mean,
why
did you
did I
catch it?
throw a book at him?
I heard some of the
I mean, I got it, so never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Yeah,
catch it, then no
but
bitch.
why'd you throw it?
Yeah, true.
He was speaking in the library.
Others have talked in the library, though.
The library was
Okay,
completely dark.
wait, hold on.
Different circumstances, completely dark.
Okay,
I had a
was he
Yes.
speaking loudly in the library or softly in the library?
Yes.
You had a headache?
Oh.
Oh.
I said it normally.
Bonk.
We'll wait for now. No.
I told him to not speak, and then he continued to speak.
Well then.
So
I said I'll see you later, so I was trying to leave, and then you threw me the right book somehow, so that worked out in the end.
Hold on.
somehow, I know what I'm doing. It's my library.
True.
He didn't even tell you what he was looking for, though. Just kind of.
You read
He's a
minds.
librarian.
No,
Actually,
you
yeah.
told me about this.
Oh yeah.
What?
I've got good luck.
So that's understandable. Yeah.
I
I
just
bet you
exist.
$20 that those two are making out.
Do you?
Apparently.
Not anymore.
Where'd you go, Jack?
No, it's fine. The fifth dimension is trying to reclaim me.
Oh, hi.
I exist. Falls through the
He wants
dimension.
back.
Look, okay, the fifth dimensional demons are just mad that I beat them at poker. It's fine.
Such a trivial game.
I also may have fucked their wives.
There's the real
That wouldn't
That's Jack.
That would do it. That would do it.
Are your glasses really that loud?
I'm fine.
Oh, there's a quarter on the ground for you.
It has your blood on it.
Do you guys know where Flo went?
No.
I don't. Sorry.
God damn it.
It's alright.
Pick the collar up.
Thank you, Arcana.
Welcome.
I just didn't want to take it back. It's from when Jack flipped me upside down.
Yeah, you deserve
A
that.
cat could become a warlock. That's
Plenty of things happened while I was
Wrong in a few levels,
attending to my business.
but close based on visual observation.
What, you rather get punched by Gaeldyr?
No! Pretty sure that would kill me.
You might want to look right next to you.
They were not making out.
Pocket Mando! Pocket Mando! Pocket Mando! Pocket Mando.
I don't think even Sarah wants to deal with
Pocket Mando
that.
isn't gonna fucking help you here. What did you do now? What did you do
I
now?
need context.
Okay, Alan, come here. He just picks you up, by the way, so holds you up high.
Just because.
What the fuck?
Yeah, just because I'm not
Oh,
human
you're
doesn't
not
mean you can just use
escaping.
me
Let's
as
find out
nothing.
what you
I
did
mean, if we're
first.
testing the magic on her,
I didn't do anything! He just suggested I get punched by him!
No, I said it could be
nothing.
worse. No, remember the punishment you did to her? I just said it could be worse. She could have got punched by Gaeldyr. I was just stating that.
I didn't do
Drop you.
anything!
Hi, Gaeldyr. Wonderful weather indeed.
I feel like carrying a sword and
I
a
feel like if I
spear
was you,
would be
I would
a
die, actually, from you,
disadvantageous
so.
opportunity.
No,
That's a staff.
Not,
First
not a
punch, right?
spear, it's a staff.
Still looks like disadvantageous for you.
I suppose, but it's something I'm gonna learn with.
See if anything bad happens.
Are you still hiding behind?
1 second, Shambles.
See, no, I know how to deal with this. She's
Yeah,
not.
Hold her.
19, you're all good.
What did you do to him?
Hi!
If he rolled a 1, we
Please
would have all been dead.
What?
Okay, so.
Yeah, what's he doing? He's just saying wonderful weather. The weather's wonderful, right, Gaeldyr?
You guys both.
No, my bottom.
Wait, Aaron, do you think we're bullying you? Because this isn't. We could start bullying you.
Shambles?
Thanks your hat. This is mine now.
You good there?
Motherfucker!
Motherfucker.
What did I call on?
Oh god!
What did I call
We'll be
on?
fine.
You know, I'm just not gonna question it.
Hold on.
Do not worry,
Gaeldyr.
I gave him my
Hold her real
drinking
quick.
potion.
I want my revenge.
Yeah, let's chaos.
Uh-oh.
I'm
I'm glad I took her hat.
Gaeldyr just
Grabs the mace out. Alright, ready, Aaron?
Oh god!
1, 2.
What is happening?
No, I'm joking, I'm not.
I'm so
I was about to
confused!
say, I was about to pop you with the
Give me a
hat.
second to process
I'm not gonna do that.
me!
Oh, you
Put the hat
booped
back
her?
on your head.
Gaeldyr fucking pooped me! And now I have my hat back! I'm so confused!
Hey, Erwin!
What?
Hey, Gaeldyr, thanks for that prank. High five. That was a good one.
I heard somebody say a motherfucker, and I came back to this.
I love having fun.
His fucking mothers.
Who's motherfucking?
God damn, Jack.
What? I'm asking! It's a hard bang!
Yeah,
You're okay. You're okay. You didn't get hurt.
Why are we fucking milfs?
Because they're milks!
Just go.
I'm questioning everything right now.
Mother would like to fuck.
Then.
I don't know.
So many different things just happened. I'll figure it out.
Someone's mother that you would like to spawn with.
Seems like a really good
Which I
idea
thought
right
would
now.
never happen.
What?
Just get